Hello guys, welcome to today's class where we're looking at further examples on how we can actually use the factorial symbol. Now, these examples that we'll be looking at now are slightly more advanced than the ones we previously did. Now, in this lecture, we'll be looking at how we can actually solve for a factorial for unknown values for unknown values basically. So we'll be looking at how we can actually solve for the factorial of an unknown value that is a variable whose value is not known. Now, we'll be taking the example theory here. We have p plus 2 factorial divided by p factorial. In this case, you'll be told to evaluate or simplify. So we have p plus 2 factorial over p factorial. Now, when we have 5 factorial over 3 factorial, we know what to do. We know that we are being asked to actually break this down. You can do something like this. You can do something like this, so that when you reach here, you can actually stop this here, and then these two cancel out, and then you're left with 5 times 4, giving you a round figure of 20. Now, this is what we know. But then, looking at the concept, before we even reach all this place, before the idea of what we have done, before we did our multiplication here, what process have we looked at here? If you notice what we did here, we realized that we were subtracting 1 from each of the preceding integer. That is, from 5 to 4, we subtracted 1, from 4 to 3, another 1, from 3 to 1, another 1, from 1 to 0, which we'll not be needing to put here, will still be another 1. So what we are doing here is basically just subtracting 1 from the preceding integer till we reach our value of 1. Now, in this case, we didn't need to reach 1 because we're stopping at 3 factorial so that we can cancel out easily with this. So in a case where we now have an unknown value as a factorial, how do we now evaluate? Now, in this case, we have p plus 2 factorial over p factorial. It should be noted that even though we don't know the exact value of what we are dealing with, as p plus 2 is not a standard integer, it is an unknown expression. It's a mathematical expression, an algebraic expression with an unknown value. So because we don't know its exact value, we still have to follow through the process that tells us to what? Keep on subtracting 1. You actually have a meaningful mathematical statement. Now, what do I mean by that? In this case, we have p plus 2 factorial. You start from p plus 2, which is what we had there. If it was 5, you subtract 1, you got 4. You move another 1, you have 3. But in this case, it is p plus 2. So removing 1 from p plus 2 here will give me p plus 1. I can stop here and put my factorial. Or I can decide that, okay, p plus 1 is not where I want to stop. I want to keep on going. Okay, I can say, no, I'm not stopping at p plus 1. I want to stop at p. And then I remove 1 from p plus 1. If I remove 1 from p plus 1, if I say p plus 1 minus 1, I will then have p. I can decide to put my factorial here. If I don't want to put my factorial here, I can decide to keep on subtracting based on what suits my purpose. So, in this case, I can decide to say, okay, p minus 1, I can then put my factorial here. Because I know that when I subtract 1 from p plus 2, I get p plus 1. When I subtract 1 from p plus 1, I get p. When I subtract 1 from p, I get p minus 1. I can decide, no, I don't want to stop here. I want to stop at, let's say, p minus 3. And then I see p minus 1. I remove 1 from p minus 1, I will have p minus 2. Remove 1 from p minus 2, I will have p minus 3. And then wherever I stop, I make sure to put my factorial there. That is just the concept. But in this case, do I really need to reach p minus 3? Because looking at the denominator, I have a denominator that can actually relate well with it, stopping here. I know that I realize that the denominator here, which is p factorial, would actually be better if I actually stopped here, so that I can actually cancel it out and make things easier for myself. So instead of expanding to this length, that is, instead of expanding from here, I can easily just remove all this, and then by removing it, I know my factorial symbol has to stay at the last one. And staying there, I know I've just expanded that, and then my p factorial remains my p factorial. I don't need my brackets here anymore, so I can just put my p factorial. And then I know this is multiplication. And so my p factorial here cancels my p factorial. I'm left with a value of p plus 2 times p minus p plus 1 rather. So this is my answer, and then I'm done. So this is what the factorial actually explains. That you can stop anywhere depending on what your purpose is at this point. Now, I stopped at p because I know that I wanted this to cancel out. If I didn't need it to cancel this out, I probably could have just said p and then multiply by p minus 1, the next one, p minus 2, p minus 3, till I reach where I want to stop. And I know that wherever I'm going to stop, I put my factorial symbol. That is just the idea. Now, in this case, I've gotten my answer. My answer can also be expressed as a quadratic expression, that is, by expansion, I have p squared plus 3p plus 2. Okay, let's take a look at our example 4. Using the same idea, we have x minus 2 factorial divided by x plus 1 factorial. Now, this looks a little bit trickier, but then if you look at it very well, you realize that it is still the same thing as what we did previously. Now, we had x minus 2 over x plus 1 factorial. If you are to solve this, you realize that you look at the one that has the larger value. Now, because we don't know our x value, students tend to believe that there is no way of actually deciphering which one will have a larger value. And I want to put it to you that there is always a way. Now, because in this case, we know that when we deal with factorial at this level, we know factorials are always positive integers. Everything we've been dealing with are always positive integers. Okay, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1. You won't have a case of minus at this level. So for now, we know we are dealing with positive integers. Whatever our value of x is bound to be a positive integer. And when I say positive integer, from my knowledge of numbers, I mean a positive whole number. Like 2, like 3, like 4, without the negative sign. So if my unknown value x here is a positive integer, it means whatever integer it is, if my x is 5, then I'm having 5 minus 2 over 5 plus 1. Obviously, this one will be smaller than the one than the denominator. So whatever happens to my x, whatever value my x is, in this case, my denominator will be larger than the numerator. So if this is larger than this, then it means that I will be needing to break this down to become this. So how do I do that? I can easily, very easily, just using an knowledge of factorial, I just say, okay, I leave the one, since I know I'm breaking my denominator to the numerator, I leave my numerator the way it is, and then I go into my denominator now. I start reducing it using the idea of factorial. Now, I have x plus 1. Since I'm going to be removing my factorial, I'm just going to be subtracting 1 consequently. So, removing 1 from x plus 1 here, I will have x, but I've still not achieved my purpose, so I didn't need to put my factorial yet. I remove 1 from x again, I have x minus 1. I can stop here, but I won't. Why won't I? Because it has not reached the point of the point where I'll need to actually cancel out with the numerator. So I don't stop here. I subtract 1 again here, I will have x minus 2 factorial. And then I can now stop here. Why? Because I can easily cancel this out with my numerator, giving me a value without the factorial. So the value without the factorial is what we are aiming, is what we are driving at, which is 1 over x into bracket x plus 1 into bracket x minus 1. So this is the simplest way we can express this. And then you can see, once you simplify statements like this, you are bound to not actually see any factorial again. If there is still a factorial in your expression, it means you still have work to do in your expansion. So once you are done, the factorial gets cancelled out. Once you are done, the factorial gets cancelled out. And then you have your values without the factorial. So this is all we'll be taking today. In the next class, so this is all we'll be taking today. In the next class, we'll be looking at permutation on its own, and then everything that it actually entails. So see you next class. Have a nice day.